Hey everyone, Will here. Today I'm giving you a crash course on the 10 settings every photographer needs to master on their Nikon Z8. These are the settings that take your shooting experience from frustrating to flawless. Stick around till the end because my favorite setting, an absolute game changer, is saved for last. Let's dive in and make sure you're squeezing every bit of performance out of your gear. Ready? Let's go. First up is back button focus. This simple tweak separates focusing from your shutter button, giving you more control over when and where your camera locks focus. It's perfect for fast-moving subjects or scenes where you don't want focus to reset every time you press the shutter. Alright, to set the back button autofocus, we want to go in here to the custom settings menu into the A option, and we want to go into the autofocus activation, where you've got two options here where you have shutter and autofocus on or autofocus on only. So to use the back button focus, you'll put autofocus on only. And then when you click to the right, there's actually a hidden option in here called autofocus release. And for me, I like to leave this to enabled. That way, even if the camera thinks that it's out of focus, the photo will still take whenever I press the shutter release. It takes practice, but once you get the hang of it, you won't go back. Keeping in line with focus, ever waste time dragging the focus point back to the center? Focus point reset lets you snap it back with a single press. This is a lifesaver for quick framing adjustments. To go in and set a button for your focus button reset, we're going to go in here to your custom settings menu, go all the way to controls, and then we want to go back to this F2 custom controls. The one that I like to use here is the OK button. So I'm going to go find the one here that says OK, click on that, and then out of all the buttons here, I'm going to select the reset. So you'll see here whenever I scroll up and then move over to a different focus point and I just click the OK button, it now snaps back to the center. However, you could also do a preset focus point if you wanted to for an extra step. If you're enjoying this video, please make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. That way you'll be one of the first people to know when my latest videos come out, and you'll be helping me get to my next goal of 10,000 followers. Moving on with focus, we're looking at the focus area mode. Choosing the right focus area mode is critical. Wide area autofocus works great for tracking moving subjects, while single point autofocus is ideal for precision work like portraits and product photography. I recommend setting one of the function buttons to scroll through the focus modes for quick switching between single point and wide area focus. So to choose the right focus area mode quickly, I like to assign here in the custom controls one of the buttons, preferably the function 1 button on the front, to where it'll cycle the autofocus area mode. So what this will do is I can go in here and I can select all the different ones that I want to have the option of going to. So then whenever I shoot, when I tap that button, and you'll see up the top, it'll flash indicating that I've changed to a different focus mode. So you can go ahead and set all these up, and then when you're out shooting, as you need to change it, you can change it. Trust me, this speeds up your workflow tremendously and will make sure that you get the best shot. And last but not least, with respect to focusing, AI-driven subject detection has changed the game. Whether it's people, animals, or vehicles, your Z8 can track them effortlessly. To set up the subject detection, you need to go into the photo shooting menu, then you're going to scroll down until you get to your focus settings. Once you get down here, you're going to go to autofocus subject detection options. Within here, you've got a range of options going from people, animal, birds, vehicle, or airplanes. However, if you go to auto, that means the camera will determine what it is that it's taking a photo of, or if you know exactly what you're taking a photo of, then just go in here and set it to the correct setting. Now let's move on to image quality. Are you shooting in RAW? If not, you're leaving a lot of image quality on the table. RAW files give you unparalleled flexibility in post-processing, and they're a must for serious photography. In order to set your image quality, there's two settings that you want to look at. So going into the photo shooting menu, we're going to go in here, and there's an option in here for the image quality. Once you click on that one, you'll see a whole bunch of options here. If you prefer to get RAW plus JPEG, there's plenty of options there to choose the one that you want. But I typically always just shoot in RAW, as I'm never using the JPEGs anyways, so I just keep mine set to RAW only. The next thing that you'll want to do is go down here to the RAW recording, and I like to leave mine as lossless compression just to make sure that I don't lose any quality out of my images. And don't forget to double check that both cards are set to record RAW if you're using dual card slots. Speaking of which, let's talk about the secondary card function. Dual card slots are a blessing, but only if you configure them correctly. You can set the secondary card for backup, overflow, or even different formats like RAW and JPEG. You can set these by going into the photo shooting menu and looking at your secondary slot function. From here, you can choose for it to be overflow, backup, RAW primary plus JPEG secondary, or JPEG and JPEG for both. So for my setup, I prefer to use backup. I don't do a lot of photography that's fast-moving subjects where I'm shooting off lots of bursts of images, so I'm able to just get that backup, and I like being able to have it just in case. Don't forget that if you set your SD card to backup, you may limit the speed you can shoot at, since the SD card won't handle the higher frame rates for extended times like the CF Express can. Moving on now to setting 7, picture control. Picture control customizes the look of your images straight out of the camera. Options like standard, vivid, and neutral give you flexibility depending on your shooting style. Picture control customizes the look of your images straight out of the camera. To choose which one you want, you're going to scroll down until you get to the Set Picture Control. And from here, you've got a range of options from auto, standard, neutral, vivid, monochrome, flat monochrome, deep tone monochrome, and the list goes on and on with different settings. But since I usually start my editing process in neutral, I go ahead and just make sure that my images are captured as a neutral picture. Moving on to setting 8 is the extended shutter speeds. Do you love night photography or long exposures? Extended shutter speeds are your best friend. They allow exposures up to 900 seconds or 15 minutes without needing a remote. You can enable this by going into your custom settings menu under your shooting display, and under A6 there's the extended shutter speeds option. Turn it off, you only get 30 seconds, but turn it on and you get up to 900. And you're ready to capture star trails or dreamy water effects. Coming in at setting number 9 is your maximum auto ISO. Auto ISO is great, but without a limit, you risk introducing noise. Set a maximum ISO that balances noise with exposure. To set the maximum ISO, you're going to go into the photo shooting menu, and you're going to scroll down until you get to ISO sensitivity settings. From there, you go into that setting and you want to turn this on if you want to use it. And then you'll set your maximum sensitivity to the value that you prefer. For me, usually I'll keep this around 6400 as I don't want to go higher than that as I don't like the noise. But you can set that how you like, and that'll give you the setting now for the auto sensitivity. For the Z8, I recommend capping ISO at 3200 or 6400 depending on your noise tolerance. However, for Astro, I like to turn off auto ISO so that I can go higher, even all the way up to 10,000. And finally, the sensor shield. On cameras like the Nikon Z8, this automatically covers your sensor when the camera is off, protecting it from dust and debris. No more stress about swapping lenses outdoors. This simple feature has saved me countless headaches and has prevented me from having to clean my Z8 sensor in my entire first year of using it. To enable this sensor cover, go into your setup menu, and in here you're going to find an option called Sensor Shield Behavior at Power Off. Click on this one and you'll be able to see you can set it to where the shield closes or the shield stays open. I recommend leaving it to shield closes just to ensure that you always protect your sensor when you're changing lenses in the field. However, be aware that you do risk the possibility of damaging your sensor if you inadvertently hit the shield while you're trying to put a lens on. If you want to learn how to use the interval timer shooting feature, be sure to check out this video here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss any of my next videos. Until then, keep shooting and stay creative.